Okay, we're recording now, and let's jump into this. So welcome to this Pro 4, 5, 6, and up. There may be some attending. Well, I already know there are some on here that are above the rank of Pro 6. It's a training that I have been looking forward to doing for quite some time. It's an avenue of communicating that I feel has been lacking on my part and the company's part, honestly. Darren, our CEO, identified just how significant the future of this company and its success lies in the hands of the Pro 4s, 5s, and 6s, not necessarily the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. And so I thought that I needed to communicate on a higher level and give my Pro 4s, my Pro 5s, my Pro 6s a real line of communication to me for those that want it. And I'm not talking about doing all your three-way calls, but I am talking about finding people who are ready for growth, ready to lock arms with a very simple message, and go find people that want to repeat that message over and over and over again with no question mark as to what we should be saying, what videos we should be playing, how we should be inviting, and what our goals should be for the weeks and months ahead. So that's really what this is going to be about. For now, this training is going to be once a month. And there are some people that are going to be on this webinar that are not a part of my unilevel or genealogy. That's okay. Many cases they've asked to be a part of trainings that I do, and I lend that out. But what I will say is kind of a disclaimer at the top of this training, and I want to be very clear that what you're going to hear tonight is based on my opinion and the opinions of many of my elites in my organization. So what I would say is if you're not in my organization, before you do anything, consult your leaders, consult your mentors in your organization. Their opinion's more important than mine because you're in their organization. And I'm very sensitive to people from other organizations being influenced in a way that is detrimental. And so certainly there's nothing that I'm going to say that I would feel be detrimental. That'd be kind of crazy. Everything I share with you is, in my opinion, what we should be doing as a group and as an organization. I'm not perfect, but I'm hungry. I'm hungry, I'm restless, and I'm ready. And there are many things, as I said on the leadership call this morning, there are many things that I have yet to achieve at LifeVantage. And that may sound weird to some of you from a Pro 10, someone that's been a Pro 10 for many years, but it's not about the rank. It's not about executive master. It's not about presidential master. Ranks don't define me. There is a lot of unfinished business for me at this company, and it revolves really the very people that are on this training right now and the elites that you are a part of their organizations. There are people that have sacrificed a lot to help you guys get where you are, and that's your uplines. Let's just face it. You may not agree with everything your upline does, but you would like to have their volume, wouldn't you? And so that means you're going to have to do more of what they did. Now, I know in some cases, some people get kind of the role, right? The cards fall in their favor and things kind of happen. That's okay. Don't disrespect a leader just because they had certain fortune play out for them. If you want what somebody else has, don't focus on what they have. Focus on what they did to get it. And that's a little bit of what this training is going to be about, guys. It's going to be real. It's not scripted. I have some topics here that I want to talk to you guys about, but I'm most likely going to say some things that I'll regret later, but I probably should have said it anyway. There's going to be some things that I'm sure some people are going to disagree with. That's okay. And I'm not trying to say I'm going to be super controversial on this thing, right? It's not what this is about. What this is about, again, is unfinished business. And I would think that a lot of you guys, as Pro 4s, Pro 5s, Pro 6s, and maybe above, feel a lot like I do. Feel like there's a lot yet still to be accomplished. And I can honestly say to you guys, I go through many, many moments of frustration. And I'm not saying I'm unhappy, because as I've said many times publicly, happiness starts with gratitude. And I'm extremely grateful for where we sit in this company. I'm extremely grateful that I said yes when I did. I'm extremely grateful that we made the sacrifices we made when we made them to take advantage of a building and growing and along with this company. But there's still a lot to be done. And honestly, I feel like the people that are on this line in the future Pro 4s and Pro 5s and Pro 6s are going to be the group that I'm going to accomplish my goals with. I don't know if that's selfish or not to you. I hope that doesn't sound selfish. Like, I have some things that I want to accomplish, and I feel like you are the people that are going to help me get it. I hope that doesn't sound selfish, because the only way I'm going to get that is if I help you a lot more. My group grows without me moving my lips, without me doing a training. I've got people that are going to continue to talk about LifeVantage and its products, and we're going to find more people that get the vision. And that's what this training is going to be about, right? And so my purpose in doing this is to help all of us reach some future goals. And I don't know what your goals are specifically, but I'm here to help, and we are going to do some Q&As. And so I hope that everybody that's on here can respect one another's opinions. I would prefer that the chat remains between me and the person writing the question. I don't need anybody's help in responding to these chats or questions, because I'd rather you guys, as I said a few minutes ago, feel as if this is a direct line of communication and an open door where you can ask any question with no ridicule or regret for asking the question. As maybe as elementary as it may be, or as complicated as it may be. You may ask a question I don't have the answer for. But my purpose in this training is opening a line of communication to who I think is going to be the people that take this company to 500 million. I think the talents and the abilities of the Pro 10s have taken this company as far as it's going to go. It's a pretty stout statement, right? I think it's going to take talents and abilities of new leadership to push this company to 500 million and above. And so let's get into this thing. Let me talk about this opportunity for a minute to kind of set the stage. I hope in the future you guys get to see a recording that Darren did a few months ago, or a month ago, on what we call our LVA presenter feedback webinar. It's a webinar we do every week after an LVA with the presenters to kind of get their feedback on what went good, what was not. And Darren got on there and kind of painted a vision and what this opportunity is. And it was amazing. It was powerful. It got me thinking about a lot of things. And I'll just be really clear with you guys that when I first signed up in LifeVantage, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of fears. One of my biggest fears was I was going to devote a lot of time and my reputation to this opportunity, this company, these products, and it was going to disappear on me. Now, that was 8 years ago, 2009, right? Or almost 8 years ago. I lose track of time. It's crazy. And now, looking where we are, that question's been answered. So if any of you guys are like me, like wondering if this company is going to last, or if it was going to last, I hope we've answered that question. I hope we've resolved that concern. This company sits on a very strong bedrock of residual customers that love the products and are not emotionally connected to commission checks or their teams. That's where the roller coasters are, guys. The roller coasters are with the distributors. The customers do not ride the emotional roller coaster. They just don't. Either they get value in the products or they don't. And if they do, they stick around. right? And we play a significant role in making sure they stick around. But that was one of my fears. My other fear was if these products were for real. This is a funny one because every once in a while I get some high-ranking distributors that I can tell doubt is creeping in their mind about our products based on their activity. Because if you believe in the products wholeheartedly and you believe that the company is going to pay you for talking about the products, why would your activity ever drop? Unless, of course, you're letting, the opinions of other people or what they're saying to you affect your decision and what you think of this opportunity, which is insanity. So the products are for real. I just want all of you as Pro 4s, Pro 5s, and Pro 6s to remind yourself on a regular basis the significance of the products that we have. You guys, I was on the phone with Todd Falcone a couple of weeks ago. He's a legend in network marketing, an absolute legend. We're working on a project together that I am really excited about. There's a few of us working together on a project. I'm not able to let the cat out of the bag what the project is. And no, it's not speaking at GoPro, but it's a project that's going to stand the test of time. I'm super excited about it. And Todd is one of the contributors. And he said to me, one of the great things about LifeVantage is you guys have real products, Brandon. Like, you guys have a product that extends life. That's coming from a legend in network marketing. And I think many times we overlook that. We forget about it, right? Every once in a while, you get a product, somebody that says the product doesn't work, or we just got a new personal enrollment and she experienced some health issues after getting on the product. And if I was a new distributor, I would be worried that it was our products. But as an experienced distributor, I know it's not. I know our products are amazing. In some cases, well, I'm not going to say that because it's not compliant, but they are amazing, okay? So the company's not going anywhere. We've passed that test. The product is amazing. It's life-changing, unlike a lot of other network marketing companies. And the only other thing that I didn't know at the beginning for me, besides the product and the company, is, could I do this? And well, of course, we've answered that question, but now that's still the question for you. Can you do this? And no one can answer that but you. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. The pain of regret is much bigger than failure. There is no way I was going to hear 5 or 6 years down the road about this company LifeVantage and this product and it changing other people's lives financially, and I just passed on it. I just couldn't take that chance. And so that's why we did what we did, right? And so it's really up to you guys. Now, this opportunity, let me put this as simple, and I'm actually relaying to you guys a series of messages of conversations I've had with some of my elite distributors. Because once you get to that elite rank, it's a whole nother thing of growing a business. And I try to keep things simple for them, right? And I've talked to some of my elites, and we all experience frustration, right? There's no lying here. I mean, my group's big enough that I've always got groups that are growing, but I've also always got groups that are going backwards. And so, in its most simple form, if you can find people that see your vision and you can create a movement with those people, you will be successful. How do you define a movement? How do you define a group of people? Well, here's what I told this Pro 8. I told them, when you can put 100 people in a room and all or the majority of the people in the room or in your organization, you're on your way. You are on your way to big things. And that's a significant event. But that's where you guys need to have the mindset. You need to go out, share your vision, be so sharp and so dialed into what your vision is that no one questions what it is you're doing or where you're going. And there are always people that want to go where you're going. Always. Every time I get on a commercial flight To go to a city, I'm never alone. There's always people in the very same city I live in that are wanting to go to a city that I'm going to. And I'm just trying to explain to you, there are people in your city, there are people in your neighborhood that think like you. There's single moms, there's single dads, there's people that are frustrated financially, there are people that are frustrated emotionally, there's sick people, all these people are right around you. You have to go find them and create a movement. And when you can put 50, 60, 70, 100 people in a room to hear about this opportunity, you'll be on your way. Until then, you're going to struggle. And so how do you put that many people in a room? That's the you part. It's not the company. It's not the product. It's you. How are you going to put 100 people in a room that are in your organization? And that's a loaded question. That's personal development. That's relationship skills. That's all those things. And those are the things we're going to talk about on these trainings. This is about getting you guys to understand the bigger picture so that you can create a movement, so that you can stop making mistakes and being distracted by the things that you should not be putting your time and energy into, and how you should be satisfied with growing one step at a time and finding other people that think like you and are willing to lock arms with you and go build this thing. So think about that. Think about how many people you're helping, how many people you're serving, because that's really what it is. In order to put 100 people in a room, it takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of you doing meetings when you really don't want to do meetings. My groups that are growing right now, guys, are doing just that. Right in this own town. They're not waiting for me. Like I've built groups. Like the biggest meeting we had in Tampa was almost 450 people. Now, not all those people were in my organization, but 90% were. Now, I'm not currently hosting meetings in my hometown. I won't. It's not where I should be focusing my energies. But there are other leaders in and around my hometown that are doing weekly meetings, and they're creating a movement. And it's where the majority of my rank advancement's coming from. So if you want to create a movement, you got to have some consistency. You got to have something for people to plug into, and they got to want to plug into it, right? Which means you're going to have to give them value. Your presentation is going to have to rock. What you share is going to have to be insightful and inspiring. And that's what I'm hoping to share with you guys through the weeks and months ahead on this training. We're going to start out on a monthly basis of doing these trainings. Yes, J-Lo, we are recording. And we may ramp it up to twice a month. I don't see this being once a week. I just don't see where we have time for that, you or me. But I can see that once our company goes into momentum where thousands of people are joining a week, we'll look at some type of platform to help people wrap their mind around the growth. Because I can tell you, we grew so fast in the very beginning. It was difficult for duplication. It really, really was. I'm expecting Ryan Goodwin to be joining us here any moment. Let me check my phone and make sure. Okay, he said he's going to be hopping on in a bit, and when he hops on, he should be hopping on as a panelist, I would think. So forgive me for looking at my phone just briefly, and let me scan through this. See, I see some hands that are up. So I'm going to be coming back to those raised hands later. So if you have a question, raise your hand. If you don't, then remove that for now. Okay. Ryan's not on yet. He should be joining us soon. Let me jump into this real quick before he jumps in. On a topic that we're going to be talking about with Ryan, obviously, is the technology and the social media of our profession. I talk to a lot of people just to double check myself outside of LifeVantage that if my thinking is right. One of the guys I talked to is a 7-figure earner over at Nerium. Don't know how a dude has done so well with a skincare company, but you got to give him props for that, and he's got extra skills because I just couldn't see myself excelling in a skincare, but I guess I could and would if I had to. Thank goodness we don't. But anyway, I was asking about social media and is it a distraction to your organizations? And he agreed it absolutely is a distraction if you're not training your teams and allowing them just to go out and do what they think they should be doing when it comes to social media. But here's what I want you guys to know. Unless you've got a 10 or 15, well, let me start with this. The fastest way to have success for your new enrollments is with their warm market. And I'm not talking about their warm market through social media, because the word friends is a very loosely, is that a word? Loose used term, right? Okay, Goodwin said he's on. So I'm hoping, I thought he may have joined as a panelist. So let me see if I can get Ryan, find him, and then turn his camera on here. He said he just joined in. There, I just saw his name. 1 second. Swore I saw Goodwin's name. There he is. Promote to panelist. So now he's promoted to panelist. He'll be joining with his cameras on here in a second. There he is. Right on. There is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. G. Thanks for joining us, buddy. I know it's after hours for you, but not really. I just kind of given the group a introductory to what we're going to be doing with this training, and I was just starting to get into some conversation about social media. So let me finish that thought, and then I'm going to kick this over to you.
Okay, awesome.
So guys, your fastest way to success out of the gates for a new person is your warm market, because that's where you have relationships already established. It's that whole power in referrals, right? Like where you get your hair cut, where you got where'd you purchase your last car, where, you know, if you're going to get a dog, like if you're going to go get a dog and you find someone else that has a breed, you probably ask, where's the breeder, right? You don't just want to go take a stab at it, right? And it's based on relationships where there's a high level of trust. That is where you're going to get your early wins for your customers, and potentially even some distributors that want to join you in the business. It's that first list of 60 people, the first list of 100 or 200 people is where you are really going to get either someone, in my opinion, to stick in this business or maybe fade away in this business. Now, with that said, all of us at some point have a limited database. Some people feel like they only know 50 people or 100, and that's crazy. You know hundreds, if not thousands, on a first name basis. The average is everybody knows 1,000 people, either by first name basis or at least recognizes them to go, hey, I know that person from the gym or the school or the grocery store. 1,000 people. And so it's limited in that I think now we have 3 billion people on Facebook. No one knows 3 billion people by first name. So there, in turn, is the power of social media, guys. Social media is an unlimited source for contacts and possible future relationships. But here's what every professional network marketer will tell you about social media. Is you find them online and you quickly take that conversation offline to develop the relationships and the trust and the actual where the point of sale will happen. Now, it may take 6 months or longer for you to be skilled enough on social media to do what most people will call attraction marketing. It is not easy. It is difficult to be skilled on social media, and we're running as fast as we can to get our teams up to speed on what a profile page should look like, what they should share, what they shouldn't share, what spamming is. And so that's a whole nother training. So my point in telling you all this, guys, is social media is going to play a massive role in what network marketing looks like. It already is, but it's going to continue to get bigger. It's not getting smaller, it's getting bigger. And as a professional in the industry of network marketing, and you guys now as Pro 4s, 5s, 6s, and above, I'm sure are aspiring to becoming full-time in this business. That's about where it happens, right? Pro 4, Pro 5, you're like, man, if I could just get a little more, I'm getting to that number where I can do this full-time. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do this full-time, you're going to have to learn some skills around social media, because if you don't, you will never create that value in a big group. Like, your group is going to get bigger and bigger, and you're going to have a certain element of your group that is going to think you're insane if you don't have a Facebook account. I'm just saying, like, if someone today opened up a phone, like a flip phone at a table, you would be speechless. You're like, if someone pulled a pager out of their pocket and like, oh, I got to go make a phone call, you would be like, where did you come from? And that's what your group is going to think of you 2 years from now if you go, I don't have a Facebook account. I'm just saying, okay? Not all your group, and I'm not saying you can't become a professional network marketer without social media, because I did. I hit the top rank without doing anything really on Facebook. I did it all wrong. It's all wrong, right? And so you can have success, but in a couple of years, it's just going to be weird if you're not got any skills at all in social media. And so the success starts old school, offline, power of relationships, doing meetings face-to-face. It's what I tell people all the time. Yeah, a lot of people meet online dating, but if you ever wanted to get beyond that, you got to kind of have the date. Like, you got to show up for dinner, dude, right? And so network marketing is the same way. You might meet someone online, but if you're going to build a dynasty with them, you might have to show up in their town, right? You might have to be a real person on the phone with them. So anyway, I'm going to kick this over to Ryan because his time's extremely valuable. I asked him to share a few minutes with us about why we need to be really paying attention to technology within LV, specifically some of the projects we're working on. But we're going to hone in tonight on one app, LV Pro, and the significance of the enrollment process. So Ryan, thanks for joining us. I'm going to kick this over to you for a minute.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Brandon. So we've started on a path with this new management team in order to create a differentiating factor that we can lever against our competition here at LifeVantage using technology. And we've been making baby steps towards that ultimate end with each event in the US over those 2 years, starting with actually, we even started in my very first event, which was in Phoenix, our global convention in Phoenix, when we launched LV Pro for the very first time. Then the next month, we made some pretty big changes to our e-commerce strategy or referral sites. We moved them from mylifevantage.com to lifevantage.com. And the next event, we introduced the share cart features to make it easier to close customer business. And we were also making other inroads towards where we wanted to go. So we've got a really diverse and unfettered distributor digital tool set right now in our full tech stack. But I realized that it's just too complicated for the average person, if not the person that would call themselves below average when it comes to technical things, to really handle. And obviously, if that person can't handle our tools, then we don't have any kind of duplication whatsoever. So when we look at our ability to really change our company and in so doing create a revolution for our industry, it's got to start with solving those issues for the brand new distributor who's trying to get into their first level of success. When we solve their problems, we really solve everyone's problems, all the way up to someone like yourself in the master ranks, because that's what duplication is truly all about. So I realized that there's a few things that we should get our field to really focus in on. Instead of trying to talk about all of our tools and hoping that there are some groups that would kind of latch on to the entire tool set. we changed the way that we're talking about our tools from corporate to the field to focus on the things that that I thought that we could get duplication around leading into Orlando, where we're going to turn those baby steps that we've been taking into full adult size steps. And so those two things are all wrapped up in the close. So that's being able to close new customers through the checkout process and the share a cart feature on your website. And then the closing a new distributor enrollment by starting with the invitation in LV Pro. If we can get our leaders teaching the brand new people how to do that specifically leading into Orlando, their teams are going to be really well equipped to take that new technology and run with it. And that's why it's so critical to focus on those things. Now, we took away the customer enrollment process, if you will, and so that the only way to create a customer online is through your website with the checkout process. And because we did that, we've seen really high adoption rates on that new on using. Even though I fall into that trap of calling it new when we've had it since, like I said, since Nashville. So almost 2 years we've had it. But we've been seeing really good adoption on there. In fact, we've seen really great conversion rates. When it comes to e-commerce, just if you set up an e-commerce site and you have traffic going to it, without any kind of optimization whatsoever, you can expect 1.5% conversion rate, meaning of 100 people that come to your site, 1.5 people is going to buy. The first level of optimization that most sites go for, which is like your first benchmark, is to hit at least 3%. 3% means that you've optimized, to that first benchmark. Pretty much anything over 3% starts putting you into the overachiever category. In the month of August, we tracked over 5%, which is huge. That's really, really good. But we haven't seen the same kind of adoption on the specifically the enrollment process, starting with the invitation in LV Pro, which means that we're limiting our duplication success, because when a brand new distributor experiences the duplication process like we've designed it, with the alerts that go to the sponsor and that first step filled out for them, it's far more likely that they're thinking during that process, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that this is something that they can do. I know that there's some team, I know that your team is probably different, but there's some pretty large teams that still lean super heavily on filling out a paper application first. I can only imagine that if I was excited to join this technologically advanced biohacking nutrigenomic company with products like Protandim Nerf1 and Nerf2 synergizers, and then when someone's like, hey, you ready to enroll? And I say yes, and they pull that piece of paper and start writing down my credit card number, I'd be like, what is going on here? Like, I thought you said that we were technically advanced. I'm a little bit confused. And what's interesting is that we already know from the feedback that we've got from the field that when you do use the tools that we have in order to close distributor business, that the psychology is exactly what we anticipated. They're thinking, holy crap, that's something that I can do, and I'm really looking forward to closing my first distributor so that they can experience the ease of the process that I just experienced.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's my desire that the people that are listening to this message tonight, if you have not sent an invite on LV Pro, that you do it tonight. First one should be a run through. Send it to someone that's in your home. Send it so that you can see what it looks like. Send it to someone in your organization. Send it to your accountability partner. Have them send one to you. But do it tonight so that you see what it looks like. So you simply go to LV Pro. Inside LV Pro, some people call it a menu button. Some people call it a hamburger. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just where the lines are, right? Click on that. I think it's the 4th or 5th selection down. It just says enroll. Mm-hmm. Click on the enroll button, guys. and then you get to share that enrollment through email or text messaging, right? But your next process after you enroll is it's going to want to know who you want to enroll. So it's going to pull up your contact list.
Your contact list from your phone.
From your phone. Select the person you want to send that invite to, right? And it's going to take whatever information you already have in your data fields in your phone, and it's going to transfer those data fields when they open up the link for their invite, whether that's through a text or email. Okay, do that tonight. Get comfortable with it. And then when you go to enroll your next personal distributor, personal enrollment, use that invite.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the best scenario. Here's why a lot of people I found are not doing it. They're just arbitrarily sending that link out and say, okay, enroll yourself. It doesn't work like that, guys. Mm-hmm. Best case scenario, you're sitting by their side.
Right.
Second best case scenario is you're on a Zoom like this, where you can see them and you can hear them and you're communicating. At a minimum, you're on a phone call, on speakerphone. At a minimum, okay?
Great.
And you just walk them through the process. Like, okay, what do you see now, right? And they'll tell you, okay, now what do you see? And you maybe answer some questions and you walk them through until they are enrolled, and then you get on your phone the alerts that you've got a new distributor or so-and-so has started the enrollment process.
Okay? Yes. Now, the two main benefits of sending the invitation versus just going to your website and clicking to join us are that first, what we call the short form is filled out from the contact information that you had on your phone. So they skip that first step, basically. All they have to do is fill in the second form of communication that you didn't use to send their invitation. So, here's a pro tip though. If you happen to have the contact's email and their phone number, you can send the invitation to both of them, and then they don't have to fill out anything if they want to keep that same email address and the phone number and their name is spelled right in your phone. They can obviously make those tweaks if they want to, but to be able to skip that step and then to be able to get those notifications in real time that they've either started the process or then when they finish it, that they finished it, is really important, especially in that best case scenario that you said, Brandon, when you're sitting right next to them. It's really important that when you're sitting right next to them that you send that invitation, just like we've been talking about. And then when you get the notification, once they've clicked past that first step, which we call the short form, you get a notification saying, hey, your contact is starting the enrollment. You want to show that notification that you just got to your prospect that is enrolling right then, so they can see the ease that we've built into the process, both for the distributor and for the new enrollee.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us and sharing that with us. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I would love to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but we'll wait till Orlando to talk about some of the things that are coming. Super pumped for what you and your team are doing. I wished everybody could eavesdrop on our phone calls about just some of the stuff we were talking about earlier today. Some really exciting stuff. So.
Yeah, I would agree. And one last plug, everybody wants to be in Orlando. The technology that we're going to be releasing in Orlando is going to be available first and foremost to the people that are in Orlando. So if you want to be able to kick the tires first, and I promise you, I hope that everybody that can hear the sound of my voice knows that I'm not a hype guy. I'm not into overselling something, but I promise you, this is something that you're not going to want to miss. You're going to want to start using this come first week in November. Awesome. So hopefully we'll see everybody there.
Thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for
my pleasure. Love you guys.
Please, as I said, guys, make sure that you're jumping all over the LV Pro and using that for your personal enrollments. Let's get into some of the meat of what I want to do tonight. I know we've already been on 40 minutes, and in the future, I won't have to spend 15 or 20 minutes setting up what this is going to be about. We can jump right in. But let me get into the meat of some of this training for you guys tonight. I am working on a PDF document for scripts, invite scripts, that will take people through the process that are pretty much industry standards. And we're kind of on the fourth and fifth revision of that. And I will be making that available to all of you guys with a worksheet at the end. Super pumped about this worksheet, because what it will do, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the way a lot of teams in the NFL start out a football game, and maybe it's even in college now, but they will script the first 10 or 15 plays. No matter what happens on the previous play, they know play 2, they know play 3, they know play 4. It started with the 49ers with Bill Walsh 2 decades ago, and it worked out pretty well for them. And I know because I'm a Saints fan, and they were in the same division, and they killed us, and I kind of hated the 49ers for that. But anyway, it was scripted, and the players executed perfectly most of the time because it was scripted. There were no questions, right? And so I'm doing the same thing for our distributors for that. I'm hoping the very first 5 phone calls they make as a new distributor, there's going to be a worksheet. And you're going to have blanks to fill in, like this is the invite. This is how I'm going to get people to confirm the time. And this is how I'm going to get people to give me a second confirmation. And with the if I, would you, right? And it's going to be a multi-page document that kind of take you through a direct approach, an indirect approach, and even for hot and cold market, right? A lot of the stuff you're already using, but it's just going to be a document that you can give your new teammates. And I want you guys to start scripting those first few phone calls with people and making them happen. Because that, my friends, is what we call on-the-job training. It's right in the blueprint, and it's still not happening enough. People are not making those first few phone calls. And Lynette and I just enrolled a new distributor this week, okay? She lives out of state. She's not here. I haven't sat down with her, but I've talked to her multiple times on the phone. We communicate every day by text, and this is what I'm doing with her. I'm in the guts of my business right now. Carrie, I'll get to some of those questions before we drop off of here about tech and some of those other things. But be looking for those scripts. And so while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start a WhatsApp group for this group, okay, so I can communicate with you guys. If you're not on WhatsApp, get on WhatsApp if you want me to communicate with you and you want to make sure you're not missing these. If you have a way to communicate with me through social media and you did not get an email from me today, if you did not get an email from me today, you are not on my email list for this group. I need your name, phone number, and email, right? We're going to send out notifications, but I'm going to try and do my best that I communicate with you guys so that when we have these scripts and other things, guys, I'm serious. The people that are on this webinar right now tonight are the people I am focusing on to accomplish big things in LifeVantage. Big things. You are the group, okay? And so all I want to find out is who wants it? Who wants to take this thing to the next level? Who's done with talking about it, and let's go do it, right? Let's go do this. It's going to take great sacrifice. It's going to take more sacrifice than you're currently making. Now, hopefully we can eliminate some of the mistakes maybe some have been making, some of the things that have gotten us stepping left to right instead of stepping forward. But I just want to find out who wants to do this. And if you don't want to if you don't like the scripts, fantastic. I love you. So glad you're a part of LifeVantage. That's okay. I'm just looking for the people who want to follow a simple process. I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight in a few seconds a presentation. I'm going to share with you the slides, and we'll be very soon some flip charts. Take you through a real brief presentation that I want this group to adopt. If you don't want to adopt it and you want to present the way someone else presents, that is fine. It's okay. I just want to know the people that want to do it this way. Okay? And we're going to go do it that way. So anyway, I think I covered that, the scripts. So just make sure I've got your email, and some of you guys are starting to put it in the chat. So that's perfect. Make sure you're on WhatsApp so that I can communicate with you on WhatsApp as well. We've talked about LV Pro. Let me show you right now. Let me share my screen, and I'm going to go to this presentation. Okay, share screen. So here we go. Let me shut that down. Many of you guys have seen this presentation already because it's what I've done on Monday night. But I'm going to make these slides available to you. Come on, baby. Let's go. And they're not free keynote. I don't need that update right now. So here we go. Let me put this thing in a large format. Let me close this out. So here it goes, okay? Let me back this up. I'm not saying this presentation is going to stay exactly like this as far as the slides go. I will share these slides with you. These slides will be changing as the weeks and months go, but the thought process and the general theme will not, okay? So I'm going to take you through this quickly. First one is I'm just trying to set a stage to open people's minds, okay? And I'm using Google, right? My point in doing this is, where were you on this date? Most people don't remember that date. It wasn't important to them, but they do know who this company is, right? If they had paid attention to Google September 4th, 1998, and they had a vision for where this thing was going, then today we know in 2007, Google is one of the biggest, if not the biggest cash cow company in the world, worth $1.9 billion, okay? And my simple question in my presentations is, how much of that action did you get? First time I heard the word Google, I thought it was silly. I didn't know what a search engine was, yada, yada, yada. I didn't pay attention. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some terminology you've probably never heard of. It's my hope that you pay attention and you don't miss what this company will be. I go into biohacking. Most people have never heard it. And then I go into a video, and here's going to maybe be the first kind of, I'm not so sure I'm on board, Brandon. The video is not the ABC Primetime. Okay, that's the video. It's about nutrigenomics, right? I'm just telling you guys, for a lot of reasons, it is time to go on to a different story. The ABC Primetime is an extremely credible video, but it limits what we can do from a company and an opportunity, and there's no need having limits anymore. And that's from Darren's mouth himself, and the very man that was just on here, Ryan Goodwin, that's running our marketing department. It's a direction we're going in another direction. And that video is not going to be the video I'm probably using several months from now, because the company is working on some more stuff for us. But that is the best video in my opinion. Then I go into the oxidative stress story, and then I quickly move from that to what is causing the problems for most humans' health: inflammation, energy problems, and gut health. And then here's our solution, the Activated Essentials. And then I talk about the rest of our products. I don't get into the science. I use before and after pictures to tell that story. It's a much more powerful story than the words coming out of my mouth. And then I move into the business. I talk about a company that's very strong, one that they've never heard of, probably like Google in 1998. I talk about this guy that's worth almost $67 billion, that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you work till you die. And then I talk about how we get started. You choose one of these options to become a partner. And in doing so, when you find people that see the vision, you get 40% commissions on your initial enrollments. We elaborate on that. I talk about these two monster companies, Delta and Chase Bank, sending me emails to invite my friends information. They're going to compensate me through points or $50. This is how we compensate when you build a network of people that see the vision. I wished I earned 5% of every person that's ever got on a Delta airline, or I wish I earned 5% of every person that uses Chase Bank credit cards. I don't, They never offered me that opportunity. LifeVantage has, and I do make about 5%. This is what 5% looks like. I talk about our technology and how we have tools moving into the future of our profession. And then I go back to this. I go, oh, by the way, that company, Google, that's, you know, a technology company. Did you know that several years ago they started a company called Calico, and it was to research life extension, right? They spent $1.5 billion investigating how they could improve humans' health. And then I end with this. Our NIA study showing we already extend life. We're there. And I say, don't miss it, guys. Don't miss this one the way we missed Google. Pay attention to this one. Get back with the person that enrolled you. That's my PowerPoint, guys. That's my presentation right now, okay? And I'm looking for a team of people that want to present around the same basic thing, biohacking, and having a solution for biohacking as a system, not a product, a $40 product, but a system that works. Do we have it ready for Canada yet? I don't know. Do we have it ready for Mexico yet? I don't know. Stand by, right? But I can promise you this. We have to move in a direction of a system that works in reducing cellular aging and not relying on just one product with the ABC Primetime video. I'm sure of it. And so I know a lot of you may not be sure of it. Maybe unsure. Maybe you have strong opinions, and that's okay. Like I said, you don't have to go with what I'm saying here. But I'm telling you guys that I'm going to find a group of people who want to present this way. And we're going to find other people who see the value in these products, and we're going to move mountains with this company and with the technology that we have coming. And so I will send those that are on this webinar, that slide deck. I'm also taking that slide deck and making some PDF flip charts for people who don't want to use technology in a presentation. They'd rather just use paper sitting down. That's fine. I get it. We'll have that available to you guys very soon. So let me go to, if you got your hand raised, let me see. This is mainly going to be questions and emails. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Okay, so the hands that are up, I'm going to start going to, and for the remainder of this thing, for the next few minutes, I'm going to hit some of those hands, okay? So let me go to Jenny Russick. You're the first one. Jenny, what you got? Turn your mic on, sweetie.
I just said, I'm here, I'm in, I'm excited. We had a team meeting tonight. I wish we'd done it in the reverse. This would have been awesome. So yeah.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Very good. Very good. If you guys have, thank you for that. Let's see here. Back into panelists. Let's put this one back down. Attendee. With going back to the attendees, some questions. I see a couple hands up here. Jessica, let me promote you to panelist and see if you have a question for us.
There we go. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Listen, I was just going to ask, we did a Super Saturday this last week. We just kind of felt that it was something that's been kind of missing a little bit, kind of in between trainings. Just wanted to know, what are your thoughts about that? Is that something that you're interested in?
That's how you create a movement.
Okay, cool.
You're never going to get 100 people in a room until you get 5.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So it was great. We did it at Fifth Gear Fitness. It was great. We had about 20 people in the room, which was awesome. We did some Zoom in it as well and try to do some Facebook Live. So just utilizing all the different mediums. So just wanted to put that out there for the rest of the group.
I'm glad you asked the question because I failed to mention it earlier when I was talking about having a movement. Mm-hmm. Our very first Super Saturday, I think we had about 15 or 20 people in the room in Tampa. And so it's extremely valuable if you are a leader in a market, whether that market has no one but you, or it's a market like in Tampa where there's Pro 10s and Pro 9s in the market. That's irrelevant. You need to start your movement. There's already been a movement created in Denver and Phoenix and Salt Lake City and Tampa. You need to create your movement, people that see your vision, and your leaders will support it. If you have a leader that doesn't want to support that, I would question their reason for not supporting it. Okay? I hope that I have a team full of people that are wanting to create a movement, but not by doing oddball things. That is the purpose of what we're doing here tonight, is trying to give a perimeter of protection. Like some people look at a fence and they go, oh, that limits me. Other people should look at the fence and go, no, that protects me. Right. Because there could be lions on the other end of the fence, right? Like you don't know, right? Like go to a zoo and you're like, ooh, I'm really glad they got that wall, right? And so that's what that's really all about. So thanks for that that question. Let me put this back down. Let's see who else may have some questions here. Attendee mode. Let's go with Francesca. You're still muted out, sweetie. Need to unmute your line there.
Okay. Hi, I want to thank you for taking the time to give us this training. I was listening to the other training you had where Nelly and Graham were your guests. That was very powerful. And I think some in our particular team is what we are missing, you know, that connection, that participation between us as a group. So I really enjoyed that, and I like the presentation you just showed us. It's very simple, very powerful. And I do agree about the ABC Primetime. And it doesn't show everything that we do. So thank you very much for thinking about us, and I'll be connected every time you're on.
Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Graham and Nelly, honestly, like I said, their groups had more rank advancing than anybody else in my organization. They both happen to be predominantly Spanish groups. And that's because, in my opinion, the Spanish groups have not allowed the distraction of social media the way other groups have allowed the distraction of social media. They kind of went like, oh, that's how we do this now. And they stopped doing the other things. And no, we still have, if you're going to create this big momentum, it doesn't start with social media. Social media complements it. But Graham does a meeting every week. Yeah. And he started that and the attendance was low, but it's building and it's building and it's building. If you guys want to create momentum, that's what we did every Tuesday night religiously. We did a meeting in Ybor City, Tampa, 7:30, same hotel, and we created momentum. Go do that, guys. Start finding people and do those meetings. If you're doing the meetings and no one's showing up, you simply have to go and enroll more people that see your vision and let them share the same message, and they will come. You will build them.
I agree. Thank you very much, Brandon.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Let me see who else we got here that may want to ask a question. Lisa Huey, let me put you on. You are now been promoted to panelist. Lines are muted. You have to unmute that line, Lisa.
Hey there, sorry about that. I think I accidentally raised my hand when the phone fell over because we were driving. Because my kid said, I think his hand was raised, so I raised it. I'm like, oh, thank you.
No problem.
About all of this because I'm kind of, newly re-engaged and all that, so I'm eating this stuff up. So I appreciate it, and I thank you for it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. We're picking up a couple different microphones there, but you're very welcome. Glad you guys are a part of this. All right, let me grab a few other hands. Let's go with Chris. You're now been promoted to panelist, Chris. You'll have to unmute your line. Apparently, it takes a few seconds for you to be able to, there you go.
Hi, I'm from Canada, Brandon, and thank you so much for tonight. That was absolutely incredible. I just want to make sure that you have my contact information, and I'm not sure how to get it to you so that I get everything.
Okay. You can put it in the chat right here below. Just type it in the chat, and I'll make sure I get it.
Okay.
The other thing is on WhatsApp. If you'll download, if you don't have that app on your phone,
I do have it.
Okay, then just send me an invitation. Say,
Okay.
hey, it's Chris, and then send me an invitation there to add, and I'll add you in to a group that I'm going to put together there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, and great evening. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Let's see what else we might have here. Let's go with Nellie. You're on now. Maybe she had her hand raised earlier because it's not her. There we go. Nellie, there you are.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for this training. I think is you just gave us a lot of good ideas, and I think you mentioned a lot of things that we need to continue doing. But I do have a question regarding Super Saturdays. We do the Super Saturdays in Spanish. What we did is translate most of the PowerPoints that you sent to us. And but my question is, how often you repeat the topics? Like, let's say we do a Super Saturday from 9 to 1. So from 9 to 10, we do the business opportunity, and then we do recognitions all the time. And some Saturdays we do the 7 habits of a leader, or sometimes we do the how to start your business, based on the blueprint. Mm-hmm. And I think those are great. And sometimes I feel like the people wants to see something different. So, but even on the LV trainings, I see that they kind of go over the same way because we always have new people, right?
Yeah, good question. So the core habits are a training really designed for the people that are wanting to become professional networkers, right? The core training in a Super Saturday situation really isn't the best place to do the core habits. At a Super Saturday, you're really dealing with mainly new people, or that's what we're trying to reach, right? In a Super Saturday, we're really trying to reach the people who don't want to drive to a LVA. You know, some people may have to drive 2 or 3 or 4 hours to an LVA, and they're just not willing to do that. We do a Super Saturday right in the town, right, where they'll drive 10, 20, 30 minutes, right? So the mindset there kind of identifies who they are and what type training they need. Like if there's someone that's not willing to drive 2 hours to an LVA, they're probably not ready to be a Pro 4, Pro 5, or Pro 6 yet, because they just don't know the sacrifices it's going to take. Like you guys know as Pro 4s, Pro 5s, Pro 6s, Nellie, you and I have got on planes before and flown to markets. You've driven all over. I know what you've done to get to Pro 6. And so those Super Saturdays should be geared to what I call hands-on. So those Super Saturdays should be situations where when they leave, they know the basics to grow a business. They know how to enroll someone. They know how to invite. They know how to do a 3-way call. They know how to use a Zoom. Like they know how to log on and do Zoom, right? Because these are all things that we do to build a business, right? And so at a Super Saturday, they need to leave with those basics. They're not really ready yet for that next level of behavioral type training that leads to being a Pro 4, Pro 5, Pro 6. What they need is the basics. They need the hands-on, we call it a hot training, hands-on training, right? They need to leave there empowered with what it takes to invite, do some role playing, like be nice one time and then be mean, right? Be like, oh, that sounds like network marketing. And let role play it. Like, let's see how you do it. Because is it going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen, right? What's that product? What am I going to feel, Nelly? When I take the product, what am I going to feel, right? Or, well, do I have to take the product forever? All the things that we hear, role play that. Spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes role playing until everybody leaves that room consistent. Like they're not like, going, or in Spanish, ete. They're not doing that, right? Because they know, oh, hey, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found. All right. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We will do it the next one in October. Thanks.
Those Super Saturdays are hands-on.
All right.
Perfect. All right. I don't see any other hands up for questions. If you guys have any questions, throw a hand up real quick. I'll try and get to that. I know we've been on for a little bit longer tonight. I'm not going to tell you how long these things are going to be because I told you this is going to be open lines of communication to you. So when I do these, I'm going to set an hour aside, but it may go longer. It's up to you guys how long they go. I'm going to be giving you the updates and the refinements, and then it's going to be up to you to be asking the questions and get that chance to, say what's on your mind. Ask the questions that may be hindering your growth, whether it's compensation related, product related, leadership related, issues in your organization, like, oh, I do team calls and no one gets on. What do I do? I'm doing meetings every week, but no one's showing up. I got a leader in my group that's the same rank as me, and now they won't listen to me anymore. All this stuff happens. It's just part of our business. I got a team that went to another company. What do I do now? Right? That's what I need to be communicating with you guys on, is the basics of our presentation, because here's where things got difficult for our company. We were perfect when we had 2 products. Dangerous, but perfect, right? Everybody did the same presentation. We said the same things. And then along came our skincare line. All of a sudden people are like, well, do I do skincare parties? Do I not, right? Then Axio came along. Well, how do we do skincare, Axio, and Protandim in a presentation? Then our physique came along. Oh, well, do we do before and after pictures, skincare, Axio? What do we do in our presentations? What video do I play? And it slowed down the machine. It slowed down the momentum. We're going to go back to a simple presentation, and it's going to be based around a system of products, not one product, but our main system. And it's not going to be me picking the system. I'm letting Darren Jensen and our marketing department, along with the leadership of our company, the field advisory board and the Pro 10s, decide what that system of products is. And in some countries, it's going to be slightly different. Not every country has the same product. But I am here, like tonight, we have 3 countries that I know of represented on this Zoom right now. And so I am here to help fine-tune our Mexican presentations. I'm here to fine-tune our US Spanish presentations, our Canadian presentations. I can do that with you guys offline. I can do that with you here. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. This is the close of the month, so I want you guys to work really, really hard on closing this month strong, because what I would love to do is to start telling the stories of the people on this training and the future trainings that are making it to Pro 5, and then the 5s to 6s, and the 6s becoming elites. That's what I'm wanting to do. And again, I started this by saying I respect all of your uplines. Don't do anything I've said until you consult with your uplines. Yes, I am in your upline, but I greatly respect the relationships and the leadership that helped you guys get where you are. You guys are where you are, many of you, because of a lot of the Pro 7s and Pro 8s and some of the Pro 9s that have helped you get there. So I hope I didn't step on too many toes. tonight. I don't think I said anything too controversial. I'll be sharing those scripts soon. I'm really stoked about them. Really, really stoked about them. We're going to be refining that. But go find your tribe, guys. Go start building some momentum one person at a time. And when you can put 100 people in a room, you'll be a different rank. The question is, how do you do that, right? We discussed some of that tonight. But it starts by providing value, and people will follow that. So thank you guys for jumping on. I don't see any more hands. You guys have a great night. That's a wrap. This recording will be available tomorrow. Good night.